Movies. Love them, hate them, base your entire personality around them. A lot come out every year, and this year's no different. So without further ado, here's my top 10 movies of 2024. I'll figure out the reverb later. But first, I'd just like to acknowledge all of the films that I wanted to see this year, but didn't get a chance to. I saw 62 movies this year. That's literally more than one a week. And I still didn't see everything. Come on. But I did see Craven. Nobody else did, but I did for some reason. And now, before we begin the list, here's one last thing. There are my honorable mentions. These are films that I highly recommend you watch. I really enjoyed them, but they're ranking anywhere from number 11 to number 20, and this is a top 10 list, guys. There's only 10 in a 10.
I must go punch that baby.
Now, I saw Poor Things right at the start of the new year, and all these months later, it's still in my brain. Yorgos Lanthimos is a very strange man who makes very strange movies, and I honestly think this is his magnum opus. A bizarre, otherworldly quest for self-discovery, this is the best example of a fish out of water story I've seen in a long time. With its fascinating use of unconventional lenses, vivid imagery, and phenomenal costume and set design, this film has such a sense of identity. Emma Stone's Oscar-winning performance as Bella is one of her best and possibly most challenging. I also enjoyed seeing Mark Ruffalo flex his comedic chops and the transformative character work of Willem Dafoe. Equal parts funny, empowering, and kinda disturbing, I won't be forgetting this crazy science experiment anytime soon.
My name is Paul Muad'Dib Atreides!
As many of you may know, I have a bit of a complicated relationship with Dune Part 1. On one hand, it is the single greatest audio-visual experience I have ever had in the cinema, by all accounts. On the other hand, it only really tells half a story and in a really drawn-out fashion that I really did not like. It all just felt like a big trailer for a potential non-Greenlish Dune 2. Now, having seen that sequel that very much does exist, it's a lot better. It kept everything I loved about the first Dune. The unmatched scale, the skull-rattling score, the legendary cinematography. It just added a few really cool new features like compelling characters, a satisfying story, actual pacing. Still there.
Listen,
Love 15.
Hey, Tony, can you bring up the Letterboxd review I wrote for this one? Thank you. Challengers is a film that grabs you by the scruff of your neck and does not put you down until it rolls credits. Not once does Luca take his eye off the ball. I think this is the most locked in I've seen a director all year. A visual marvel in every regard. The cinematography and editing just had me in a state of awe the entire time. And all this in combination with Ross and Reznor's unbelievable score? I never knew tennis, of all things, could be filmed in such a radically unique and exciting way. To say I was on the edge of my seat might be the understatement of the century. And that's before I mentioned the suspense of the plot happening off the court. Feist, O'Connor and Zendaya are all electrifying on screen, and bring an intensity for proceedings that's even greater than the match scenes. So to summarise, every now and again a film comes around that just heals the soul. The Holdovers is one such film. The cinematic equivalent of a warm hug. Its use of film grain, old editing techniques, and a nostalgic soundtrack immediately recapture that feeling of watching a John Hughes movie for the first time. Not to mention the ever-evolving and incredibly authentic dynamic between Paul Giamatti and Dominic Sessa, which is so beautifully written and acted and allows for plenty of dark wit, emotional gut punches, and moments of quiet reflection. I've already added this movie to my annual roster of must-watch Christmas movies. I also need a new Paul Hunham movie for every holiday going forward, please and thank you.
Oh no! The condensation!
Furiosa is a glorious odyssey of biblical proportions. An operatic spectacle of blood and steel. A maddening symphony of mayhem and carnage. It is the kind of film cinemas were made for. And I adored every insane second of it. Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth go all in, bringing to life one of the most compelling tales of revenge I have seen in years. And George Miller is firing on all cylinders with every beautifully composed frame. My jaw would have been on the floor the whole time if it wasn't for the relentless state of whiplash I was in, being bombarded in the face with all this cool action and explosions and metal and cars and Look, I had the stupidest grin across my face for the entirety of this film. I lost count of how many times I muttered hell yeah under my own breath. I don't know about you, but I'm fully prepared to die historic on the Fury Road.
Satan's pretty cool.
I mean, we all saw this one coming. Everything I love about Longlegs can be found right from its opening scene. You immediately feel unsafe, as though you're being watched. The atmosphere is so unnerving, but you don't quite know why yet. Your eyes dart around the screen, desperately searching for this weird source of unknown fear, but that only causes the tension to rise faster. Every hair on your body starts to stand upright, your breath, it starts to quicken. It's too quiet. This is the feeling that permeates throughout the entirety of Longlegs, when we're following Mike Monroe as her investigation leads her deeper and deeper into hell. When Nicolas Cage is haunting the audience with his on-screen presence. When you're all alone in a dark cinema and suddenly get the urge to look over your shoulder. Oz Perkins knows how to scare you. He also has really good taste in music. I forget the last time I had such a visceral reaction to a film as I did with Coralie Fargeau's latest horror masterpiece. I mean, it's cliche to say, but I was genuinely left speechless. Utterly beyond words. My mind was racing, my heart was pounding, my stomach was turning. I was there for the body horror first and foremost. And boy did I get it. The effects are grotesque in the best of ways. Sickeningly twisted to look at in all its gory, malformed glory. And even worse to listen to really with all its bone-crunching, wince-inducing sound design. But honestly, what surprised me most was the story at its center. This is a rage-filled, horrifying look at self-loathing and societal standards. Demi Moore gives such an emotionally upsetting performance as we helplessly watch her slip further and further. Margaret Qualley is equally exceptional as their seemingly perfect alter ego. The substance will change you. That I can guarantee. Also, can we all just agree for a second that Dennis Quaid eating shrimp was somehow the most disgusting part of this movie? I mean, use a napkin!
You hear Abbey Road? Abbey what?
Kneecap is a fearless battle cry of a movie. It champions the Irish language and shows off all the creativity that can come from embracing it. It's one of the most visually inventive films of the year, on top of having an energetic soundtrack and a genius script. However, what really carries the film is the unrivaled chemistry of the leads. Now, casting the actual band members in the film, it could have ended in disaster. Yet all three stepped up to the plate, delivering performances that are equal parts hilarious, rebellious, and deeply human. If this is what we could expect from the future of Irish cinema, we're in good hands.
今度は今度。今は今。
Perfect Days is a gentle film, a reflective exploration of appreciating the little things in life, of the joy and beauty to be found in the seemingly mundane, and the impact that small gestures of kindness can make. With the incredible direction of Wim Wenders, a career-defining performance from Koji Yakusho, one of the best soundtracks of recent memory, and my favourite final shot of the year. I can't wait to return to this newfound comfort watch time and time again. Also, Hirayama, just the best guy ever put to screen, like ever, and I refuse to let any harm come to him. Okay, hear me out. For many of you, this might come as a bit of a surprise. For anyone who follows me on Letterboxd, less so. Hundreds of Beavers, without a doubt, is the single most original film I've seen come out all year, maybe all decade. But you might be asking, what is Hundreds of Beavers about? Well, I will tell you, Hundreds of Beavers is a low-budget, black and white, silent slapstick comedy